something's gonna blow. Flags fade on the old hotel, tourists drink their rum and go. Radio talks into accents about a brand new vote. Cuba, 51st state of the sun, stars and stripes in the Caribbean. Same blue waves, a different anthem, still the same red in our drum. Cuba, 51st state of the sun, side by side on that banner we run. From Havana down to Key West, we rise as 51. Ball game in the busted barrio, kids swap caps, argue calls. One says soon we're buying hot dogs in a big new stadium wall. Street band plays old boleros, slides into something strange. A pledge in a different language, but the hope feels just the same. Cuba, 51st state of the sun, stars and stripes in the Caribbean. Same blue waves, a different anthem, still the same red in our drum. Cuba, 51st state of the sun, side by side on that banner we run. From Havana down to Key West, we rise as 51. Will they still dance till the morning? Will Abuela save her songs? Can a brand new piece of paper hold a hurt that's old this long? We've been islands in our heads, farther than the sea is wide. Maybe 50 stars and one more can fit under this tide. Oh yeah! Cuba, 51st state of the sun, stars and stripes in the Caribbean. Same blue waves, a different anthem, still the same red in our drum. Cuba, 51st state of the sun, side by side on that banner we run. From Havana down to Key West, we rise as 51.
Midnight on the rooftop, old flag in my hands, ancient lion on the canvas, facing steel and desert sand. They try to paint our story over with the blacked out lies and chains, but under every burned out poster I still hear our father's names. Persia will rise, I swear it. Hear that echo in my bones. From Shiraz streets to the Caspian stones. We're breaking their walls, we bear it. Every scar, every battle cry. You can cage a body, but the soul won't die. Mothers hide in photographs,
morning. Welcome to the NPC show. Deprogramming the world and one NPC at a time. I'm your host, Frank. Today is May 8th, 2026. Good morning to you guys. How you doing? A lot is developed in that whole Hanta bug thingy. And so we're going to talk about that. Before we do that, let's get to... Oh, thank you very much, David Stores, for the donation. Thank you, David. And also thank you to Hantavlrus for resuming your membership. Look at that. He's got the Captain America shield. That is a 1 year plus membership. Thank you very much. I think it's 1 year. It might be more than that, actually. But thank you very much for being here. Anywho, good morning to everyone. Good morning, Zach. Good morning, Mary, Barry. Good to see you, the other Mary. Hello to Hantavlrus, Arnold, Bionic Fire Truck, Rhoda, Sherry, Bourbon, Shane. Good to see you. Sharon Mercier. Good to see you. Good morning. Hello to everyone over on the Rumble side. We got Dixie, Lisa, Josie, Mary. We got Lisa again. The other Lisa. E30. Good to see you. Diamond G, Phoebe, Super Trucker, David Stores, Jillian. Good to see you. And hello to everyone over on Foxhole. Thank you very much, Ina, for the donation. And Josie Cooper, good morning to you over on Foxhole as well. So a lot of new stuff has popped up and it doesn't look too good. It looks like they're doing it again about the pandemic or the possibility of one. So I'm keeping that at the end of the show for obvious reasons. Because I got a pretty good feeling I'm going to get shut down for this one. Good morning, Shane. Sagai, good to see you. Megan, good morning. Frank, Kathy, good. Hello, Derek, Luna, Tristan. Please hit the like button and share this out. Don't forget to also follow my other two channels, Frank's Show Clips as well as Frank's Funny Shorts. Links are in the descriptions for those. And what is this? Why is it doing that? That sucks. Are we really doing this right now? Holy crap. On, off, right? Are we doing that? Okay, now we're all pink. What is going on? That's got to be it's the pink flashing is supposed to be a donation, I think. Hold on. Okay, that's there's something wrong with this. Huh. Well, anyways, that's enough of that. We'll just have to live with it for the show. Hello, Solly. Good morning to you, Doreen. Thank you for being here. Let's get going. We have, and by the way, Trump just went live. He's not speaking yet, but when he does, we will switch right over. I'm not sure what this is about, but he said he's got some remarks to deliver. So, this is a live feed right there. So, once it goes on, we will jump right to that. Obviously, if it doesn't happen before we finish the show, which we're not, this is a long ass show, because we have a lot to dig into. The aliens, yeah, that's the last story, because guess what, I don't care about it, and that's the distraction. The UFO stuff, yeah, I got what timing that they released the UFO files right when all this Hanta stuff starts. Hello, Jerry, good morning to you. Let's get going, guys. Hold on, here we go. All right, first story of the day. The Justice Department has charged 11 men in connection with a massive international trafficking operation accused of moving meth and other drugs from South Korea through California and into D.C. Yeah. Looks like the CCP is operating out of South Korea now that they have a CCP-friendly president in South Korea, right?
Supply chain. The suspects are accused of running meth and other drugs from South Korea to California and all the way to our nation's capital. The DOJ releasing these maps showing how far the drugs traveled. U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro saying, quote, from a storage unit in Northeast Washington to a warehouse in Seoul. We followed the supply chain end to end and we've shut it down. Tennessee lawmakers passing a new congressional map.
Okay, we'll get to that in a bit about the map. Next story. A guy who was paroled by Biden, an illegal, was charged with banging an elderly woman at a Wisconsin nursing home. This is he. Very disturbing. Now even your parents are not safe. Your grandparents are not safe. It's from Nicaragua. It's all the same.
The Mexican.
They're Mexicans too. It's all about the same. Wow. So he's under ICE detainer. I hope he sent him to Eswatini and not CCOT. CCOT, he's too similar to people there. They're just gonna get along, and he's gonna learn more about doing crime and stuff. Like I sent him to Eswatini, where he's not gonna speak. Okay, so that's not going to work out very well for him. I don't know why that light's flashing. Anyways, next story. We're in the process of hiring 10,000 more ICE agents. This is according to Tom Homan. 7,000 are on board, and we've got another 13 in the pipeline through the academy. Look at that.
1,000 was the number last year, and you're saying we haven't seen anything yet. What kind of numbers can we expect this year?
Well, look, like I said, we're in the process hiring 10,000 more agents. I think we got about 7,000 on board. We got 3,000 in the pipeline through the academy. So we have more resources to do this work. And we're going to continue doing that. We're going to continue to surge resources, especially the sanctuary cities, because we know we have a problem there. So I expect the numbers to increase while the border numbers continue to decrease.
600.
Good stuff. Next story. Some flashback here. Remember, Rhino John Cornyn praised and supported the Muslim group that funded the Texas mosque behind the Sharia city, which, by the way, a Biden judge basically just did give it the green light. Not saying that, oh, it has to govern under Sharia law, but they do get to build a city now. And this is something that John Cornyn championed. The good news is, if you're ever looking for, your radical Islamists, you know where they're going to be. All right. Just glass the whole city. Next story. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about how this guy right here, the black, who killed her on a subway, on a bus or whatever, they took him to a hospital and they evaluated him and said he's not mentally capable of standing trial. So the states are not moving forward with the trial. The federal prosecutors are, though. Yes. Federal prosecutors say the murder case against De Carlos De Juan Brown Jr., who is accused of killing her, will move forward despite a finding that he is currently not competent to stand trial. Again, these hospitals are all left-wing, doctors are all left-wing, nurses are all left-wing. Of course, they're going to protect this guy and say, oh, yeah, you can't put him in jail. He's crazy. Yeah. So we can't put him in jail, but it's not okay to just off him. Can we just off him? How about that? Anyways, officials say the Bureau of Prisons evaluation determined Brown could likely regain competency through treatment. Yeah, I don't know, man. You guys need to just take matters into your own hands. Okay, this could have been your daughter here. Just start popping them off and be like, oh yeah, he reached for a weapon. And then plant something on him, like he used to do. It's not hard. Next story. A lady's being confronted because she is just entitledly parking on over two handicap parking spots, and she don't care.
Video.
Can you guess which demographic this is?
Come on, man. Why you do that? Why you parking between spots?
You're in the middle of two hands.
Come on, man. You gotta stop this black fatigue, man. God damn. Man, god damn, look. Right in between both of them.
Your fucking business.
This is what's wrong with y'all.
What's wrong with who?
This is why the Democrats are trying to replace all of you with Mexicans.
The Mexicans,
yes. I'm gonna make you famous.
Say it, bitch.
I'm gonna make you famous.
Do it.
Man, you're beautiful. Video.
The N-word.
Next story is another one. A group of kids, a group of juveniles, a group of YNs ruined this entire event here. Okay, they're basically started a riot, cursing out cops. Officials are forced to cancel this. This is a beloved annual fundraising event. And these group of kids just completely fucked it up. Chaos at Carnival forces early shutdown.
But we're going to begin here at 4:30 with that Carnival chaos in South Jersey. Several teenagers now facing charges after what should have been a fun event turned into mayhem on Friday.
Police had to step in and break up multiple fights, and now their investigation centers around videos circulating on social media. As a result of a new law, the teens' parents could be the ones held responsible. Action News reporter, New Jersey correspondent Trish Hartman is live in Maple Shade.
Oh, is this in Georgia? This is ABC Philadelphia.
With the details, Trish.
Hi, Sarah. Yeah, this carnival typically raises money for the local youth football program, and because of the chaos on Friday night, they had to cancel the final night on Saturday, which is typically their biggest and well-attended night. Police say several teens are now facing charges.
It's Philadelphia. Oh, wait, hold on. This is New Jersey. This is Maple Shade, New Jersey.
Teens are now facing.
New Jersey doesn't have a law like that where you could charge the parents. I thought that was Georgia.
Charges.
And Florida.
Herds of kids walking out, cops escorting them out.
Carnival goers described the scene on Friday in Maple Shade. Neighbors say crowds of teens could be seen sprinting down the street and fighting.
They were cursing at police officers. They were clearly trying to provoke physical confrontations with cops.
Maple Shade police say they're reviewing these videos posted to social media as part of the investigation. They appear to show teens fighting and police trying to disperse the crowds. The event shut down early Friday and was canceled for its final night on Saturday, meaning the Maple Shade Tigers football program lost thousands of dollars in funding.
As a nonprofit, everything we have always goes back into the program. New equipment, uniforms, helmets.
After several years of teens running wild at community events and down the shore, a package of legislation was signed in January by then Governor Phil Murphy, enabling police to find parents of juveniles. They could even face jail time in the most serious circumstances.
Wow, so New Jersey has this law, huh? That's interesting.
Maple Shade police say they're exploring that option here, but it will take time to comb through video to identify suspects and then locate their guardians.
If your kid is leaving the house with a face mask to go to a carnival, I think that should be a sign that they're probably not looking to, that they might be getting themselves into trouble.
But what about the pandemic? Huh? What about that one? That's starting right back up, isn't it?
Maple Shade police say...
Anyways, that's enough of this one. Next story. The Senate has unanimously passed the Maverick Act. This bill is going to transfer 3 retired F-14D Tomcats from Arizona. Remember the airplane graveyard that I was telling you about, an airplane boneyard? It's going to go to a museum in Huntsville, Alabama. Yeah, so the kids can check it out. Yes, I believe this is from the original Top Gun. And by the way, if you don't know, they made another one. Yeah, they made another one that just came out a few years ago that we watched together on Foxhole. He basically becomes the trainer for the new pilots. But yeah, it's you watch the first one before you watch the second one, because they both open the exact same way, the same songs, by the way. So it's pretty cool. It's very nostalgic to see that. But yes, they are passing the Maverick Act. These jets are going to be restored and put in a museum out in Alabama.
3 F-14s are coming back from the grave, and 1 will even fly. No, this isn't a joke. The cleverly named Maverick Act is currently in the House of Representatives. I read the entire thing. Let me tell you about it.
You didn't read the entire thing. Come on. That's a long bill.
Bill would stop...
Hey, Becky, good to see you, dear. Hope you're feeling better.
The destruction of 3 surviving Grumman F-14 Tomcat airframes currently sitting in U.S. Navy storage. The actual text says, quote, "The Secretary shall provide excess spare parts to make one of the F-14D aircraft flyable." The proposal still has to pass the House of Representatives, but for the first time in years, there's a real possibility that an F-14 could fly again in the United States.
Cool stuff. Next story. The U.S. will begin revoking passports for parents who owe $100,000 plus or more in unpaid child support, with officials planning to broaden the policy in the near future. Now, a policy, something like this, I don't have a problem with. The problem is the thing that I have a problem with is that the courts tend to always favor the woman. Okay? Instead of just doing, split custody, they're going to give full custody to the woman who doesn't even have a job and have the guy pay like double the child support just so that she can stay at home all day and not have to work. And a bunch of, you know how they have them anchor babies? Yeah, a bunch of women are doing like little financial anchor babies. They're lying about being on birth control. They're getting knocked up. And then guess what? The entire choice of everything is it's on their side. Yeah. So I don't know, man. The bias that favors women it's unbelievable with this whole child custody case hearings. It's terrible. Look, we've all seen the movie Liar Liar. That happens all the time. Next story. Stats show that blue states have so far lost $2 trillion of wealth of people just simply leaving blue states and headed to red states. Look at that. Look at that. Wow, this flashing light thing's a nightmare. I don't know what's going on with my lights today. Anyways, so look at that. The states that got hit the hardest was New York, California, and Illinois. And New Jersey. Well, New Jersey is because of New York. You know, no one chooses to be there. They just can't afford New York. And then the biggest beneficiaries would be Florida, Texas, and Arizona's tied with the Carolinas. It's pretty close. Carolina's interesting. All this, you guys are going to get Nancy Mason. She's not too bad, right? Next story. Wait, hold on. So wait, Becky, you're saying that the guy who T-boned you is a Mexican illegal immigrant who's in ICE custody right now? I think that's what you're saying. Well, good. I hope they send him to Eswatini so he can get murdered. Holy crap! She got in a really bad car. She's in a hospital right now. She got T-boned by a drunken Mexican on Cinco de Mayo. That's terrible, man. Telling you guys, you gotta get your family out of there. By the way, make sure you stick around for the end of the show because we're gonna talk about this Hantavirus. And apparently, on Pfizer's own documents, it says that Hantavirus is a side effect, or can be a side effect. So, and by the way, Hantavirus has a mortality rate of 38%. And I say that because Becky has loved ones that are actually jabbed. We just don't know which one. It might apply to all of them. So far, I've heard only about Pfizer, though. We'll get to that in a bit. Next story. Governor Hochul announced that she is going to opt in to Donald Trump's new school choice program. Look at that, New York kids are happy. They get to go to the school that they want. You're going to public school, private school, or if you're going to go to homeschool, you get your own choice. You get to do what you want to do. That's kind of a good thing, right? This is, by the way, the second Democrat governor to join in on this. So there's 30 states so far. Arizona's Katie Hobbs. We know that state's stolen. What's North Carolina doing? What is up with you guys? And Pennsylvania. Anyways, okay, school choice. Okay, 36. That's pretty good. Next story. The Minnesota Democrats didn't not just block requiring checks at all voters. A check that all voters in the U.S. are U.S. citizens. They blocked ensuring all state voters are even alive. Yeah. So they are not cleaning up their deceased voter rolls at all. The Democrats just voted to keep deceased people on all voter rolls in the Minnesota House. Yeah.
Clean it up.
We're not going to play this 2 minutes long of just this guy jibber jabbering. Next story. In the state of Washington, an abandoned box of election materials was found. More data and analysis shows amazing find is bigger than expected. So this happened on April 16th of this year. The Washington GOP state chairman reported that a concerned citizen made a troubling discovery on February of this year. Hundreds of undelivered ballots sitting in a large box on the ground next to a dumpster behind a strip mall in Renton, Washington. The Good Samaritan knew they were important, put the box in his truck, called King County Elections, then called the Washington State Secretary's office, but was given the runaround. He even tried calling his congressional representative with no luck, so he contacted Chair Walsh and gave the box to the Washington GOP. Good stuff there. So, is that next story? Some good news. The Tennessee House has officially passed the new 2026 redistricting map, redrawing Tennessee to be entirely red. Look at that. Oh, yeah, and they're protesting like crazy. See, they're having to arrest people. That guy got arrested. She's got arrested. Oh, we got better video of that elsewhere. Here we go. Oh, and then the governor's already signed it, by the way. So it's official.
Nays 5. House Bill 7003, having received a constitutional majority, I declare it passed.
I believe that was when House, Senate, and then I believe the governor already signed it. Tennessee Democrat state senator stands on a desk and fights with the sergeant of arms at the after the Republicans passed a new map. So this is the old map. Okay, it's got a, it's a DEI map. They gave Memphis a representative. Memphis does not need a representative. They're not even a real city. And then this lady right here, look what she's doing. And this is a Democrat throwing a fit because of redistricting. You know, the stuff that they've been doing for decades. Yeah. Next story. Tim Burchett's calling for jail time for the radical Democrat Justin Pearson after he intimidated state troopers over a meltdown. Isn't this the same guy? Oh, yeah, Pearson's the same guy that got impeached, and then the district he came from just voted for him again, and he went right back. Remember him, the other block? This is the guy that he tries to talk like MLK. Not realizing MLK is a Republican, and so is even his grandchildren is. Alveda King's a Republican, a Trump endorsee or endorser. Yeah. Come on, Twitter. Anyways, you get the idea. Next story. In Louisiana, Bill Cassidy is expected to be primaried. This is that one that he's a rhino, by the way. Okay, this guy's a rhino, and because of this new redistricting, they're getting, not only are they getting rid of the DEI maps, they're making it so that his competitor can win. Either that or his competitor would win anyways. I think this is probably just from Trump's endorsements, because I don't think they're redrawing it like that. They're trying to spread out Republican votes to drown out the Democrat votes, right? Which is bullshit anyways, because I mean, half of blocks are not, well, at least a third of blocks are Republicans, but they're lumping them into the DEI maps to give their votes to the Democrat representative. That sounds like disenfranchisement right there. Anyways, the primary, by the way, which is they said it's going to be next week. I thought it was postponed because they need to redraw the map and obviously issue new ballots and reprint new ballots and all that good stuff, right? So I don't think it's next week. But the primary, which is it's expected to turn out like this. Julia Letlow is going to be 33%, which is going to beat Bill Cassidy by 12 points. Okay, and then them two will be in a runoff, and it should be Julia Letlow, 47% versus Bill Cassidy, 30%. How is that? That's still not 51%. That's still not 51%. Where's your math? Well, who wrote this? Election time. How many followers you got? 35,000. Well, now I don't know why. Anyways, since it's required 50% to win, he will get crushed by the Congressman Julia Letlow. You still have her listed at 47. That's weird, huh? Anyways, hope he gets primary. We don't need any more of these rhinos here. Next story. Southern state of South Carolina is on the verge of delaying their congressional primary election so that the 2026 House map can be redrawn. This was the state where I heard that the governor would not do a special session to do redistricting. So I suppose if they're not going to be doing a special session to redistrict, they're just going to delay the entire primary to kind of go around the governor then. Which again, I don't understand why is the governor the guy who decides whether they do a special session or not. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Anyway, so good news out of there. Next story. The Virginia Supreme Court today officially ruled that the Democrats' gerrymandered map of Virginia is invalid, is null and void. No can do, no use it of app.
Louisiana to try to put that back in. You had Tennessee do what it did. Right. You had the Supreme Court just last week. And so now I sort of feel that the Virginian Democrats irritated everybody, made everybody mad, and then they lost. And so what they could lose is, one, self-respect maybe, but also funding and the seats that they thought they were going to win.
Yeah, and the momentum, because you mentioned all of those things are such huge developments. That Calais decision out of the Supreme Court last week triggered what we just saw in Tennessee. Alabama's going to make a run at it. Louisiana has to. South Carolina may be in the mix. So while Democrats have seemed to be gaining sort of a net advantage in a lot of what they've done in the redistricting, and they point to Republicans, you guys started this in Texas, those decisions in this one...
No, we did not start this in Texas. They've been doing it for many decades. Okay, even before Texas considered redistricting, go look at Illinois' map. It looks like a bunch of spirals.
today that just landed, they are big wins for Republicans. And listen, they can't count on winning the midterm strictly on redistricting these seats, because they've got to talk about gas prices, the economy, all the things that people are worried about out there. And we know what history generally does to an incumbent president in the midterms. But these seats will certainly help to stem a lot of the things that they're going to be trying to fight off and to hold on to the House.
It's early May. I don't know when this is settled. I still don't. I mean, as we push closer and closer to Election Day.
Next story. Todd Werner triggered leftists in the state capitol by wearing a Trump flag. This is not just any Trump flag. It says Trump 2024, and it says no more bullshit on it. Should have wore a Trump 2028 flag, huh? That would have been hilarious. Shame. They're booing him. Oh, boo, we're so sad our fraud is getting busted. Bunch of monkeys. Next story. Jobs numbers came in 150,000 jobs higher. Surprisingly strong 150,000 jobs last month, beating expectations.
The big jobs report for April. 65,000 expected. Nay, nay, nay. We are much stronger. 115,000. 115. And last month, upward revision from 178 to 185. These are good numbers. The big
good stuff. Next story. In a phone call with Commissioner Ursula von der Leyen, Trump gave the EU until July 4th to fulfill their historic trade deal and cut tariffs to zero or face higher level U.S. tariffs. So you're telling me that the deal you've made with them, they're not following through with it? Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised? They're busy giving away all their money to the Libyans invading their country. Yeah. You probably should have just left the tariffs as it was. Yeah, they're not going to keep the word. These guys are as bad as the Chinese Communist Party. He says here, I had a great call with Ursula von der Leyen. We discussed many topics, including that we are completely united that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. We agreed that a regime, but they're not going to do anything about it. They're going to have us do it, right? We agreed that a regime that kills their own people cannot control a bomb that kills millions. I've been waiting patiently for the EU to fulfill their side of the historic trade deal we agreed on in Turnberry, Scotland. Remember that meeting? And when they call him Daddy? The largest trade deal ever. A promise was made that the EU would deliver their side of the deal and, as per agreement, cut their tariffs to zero. I agreed to give her until the country's 250th birthday, or unfortunately their tariffs would immediately jump to match higher levels. And you should raise it to a point where you're making up for all the tariffs we didn't collect for the last 5 months that they've made this deal and they didn't follow through. They're playing you for a fool, so you know. They're buying time. Iran's buying time. Yeah. They're waiting. They're running out the clock. All they need to do is run it out until next January, and then Congress takes over. The Democrats take over Congress. Next story. Yesterday, Lula was in town, the president of Brazil, the communist guy who's very friendly with China. This is his media leaving because he has opted to not do an Oval Office presser. Yeah. Which is bizarre because Trump tweeted out, just concluded my meeting with Lula da Silva, the very dynamic president of Brazil. We discussed many topics, including trade and specifically tariffs. The meeting went very well. Our representatives are scheduled to get another get together to discuss certain key elements, including additional meetings will be. He says additional meetings will be scheduled over the coming months. So I'm guessing he left. Lula left because he doesn't want to be seen on TV fraternizing with Trump because he's obviously China's puppet. I'm telling you. Brazil is going to be the next decade's Iran. We're going to have to regime change all the countries around it, set up U.S. military bases in all those countries, and do a regime change in Brazil. But we should probably destroy that freeway that goes through the Panama Canal at this point, because nothing good's going to come through that. Next story. Iran struck a cargo ship owned by the Panda Land. Look at that. This is in the Strait of Hormuz. They're like, oopsie. Confirmed Chinese-owned ship struck by Iran in the Strait of Hormuz. That is hilarious. Anyways, a Chinese oil tanker has been, it's an oil tanker has been hit near the Strait of Hormuz in the first confirmed civilian ship strike of the Iranian conflict. The vessel that is marked China owner and crew suffered a deck fire, raising concerns about Beijing's mediation posture. Oopsie. Holy crap, man. It's the most incompetent group of communists I've ever seen. Next story. Yesterday, the U.S. military carried out strikes on Iran's Bandar Abbas and Qashem port. This is video from it. And by the way, they did ask Trump about this. Hey, does this mean the ceasefire is over? He's like, no, it's just a love tap. So basically, apparently Iran has been doing things that has been pissing us off. So we basically attacked a couple of their ports to get them to be like, hey, cut it out, or we'll do more of these. So, but apparently it's still on. Iran's Tasnim says 3 U.S. destroyers near the Strait of Hormuz were targeted by the Iranian Navy. They were fired upon, by the way. Okay, and then we go into what? That's not how I set it up. There it goes. Trump says 3 world-class American destroyers just transited very successfully out of the Strait of Hormuz under fire. There was no damage done to the 3 destroyers, but great damage done to the Iranian attackers. They were completely destroyed along with numerous small boats, which are being used to take the place of their fully decapitated navy. These boats went to the bottom of the sea quickly and efficiently. Missiles were shot at our destroyers and were easily knocked down. Likewise, drones came and were incinerated while in the air. They dropped ever so beautifully down into the ocean, very much like a butterfly dropping into its grave. Probably should use a different bird that maybe people don't like a locust. Butterfly. You're comparing them to a butterfly. Anyways, a normal country would have allowed these destroyers to pass, but Iran is not a normal country. They are led by lunatics, and if they had the chance to use a nuclear weapon, they would do it without question. But they'll never have the opportunity, and just like we knocked them out again today, we'll knock them out a lot harder and a lot more violently in the future if they don't get their deal signed fast. Our 3 destroyers with their powerful crews, their wonderful crews, will now rejoin our naval blockade, which is truly a wall of steel. What else is there? So this is more clarification about U.S. striking back warships that came under attack at the Strait of Hormuz. Here we go.
We end the week where it began, with U.S. warships under attack in the Strait of Hormuz. But now, for the first time since the ceasefire began last month, the U.S. launched a counterattack ashore. Here's President Trump describing the action.
We took our 3 destroyers and we rammed them through some pretty big stuff today. They were firing at us and we were firing back at them. And our firepower was a hell of a lot stronger than theirs, and they knocked the hell out of them.
Is the ceasefire with Iran still on?
Yeah, it is. They trifled with us today. We blew them away. If there's no ceasefire, you're not going to have to know. You're just going to have to look at one big glow coming out of Iran. And they better sign their agreement fast.
By the way, we are still waiting on the Trump presser. That's an actual live feed. It has not started yet. Here we go. I'm wondering if it's going to be about the Hantavirus.
So surface Navy leading the way there, guys. Here's a map showing the targets. Bandar Abbas, home of Iran's largest Navy base. Qashem Island, that's the toll booth and where drones and missile sites are located. The Kargan Naval Checkpoint, again, some more housekeeping. U.S. jets also part of the action last night. Now, here the U.S. warships are on targeted, all guided missile destroyers. USS Truxtun, USS Mason, recall very active in the Red Sea a few years ago against the Houthis, and the USS Rafael Peralta. Now, recall earlier this week, General Dan Kane said U.S. forces came under attack more than 10 times since the ceasefire had been in effect. For now, the blockade remains. More than 1,500 ships remain stuck in the Persian Gulf behind me. Normally about 130 transit the strait each day. That number has been reduced to a trickle over the past 2 months. Now, early this morning, we heard fighter jets overhead and UAE air defenses were active for the 3rd time this week as Iran launched another attack here in the Emirates, a country, Ainsley, the size of South Carolina.
Oh. A lot of waiting, a lot of we're just like not doing anything about a lot of this right here. In Iranian, this is today, by the way. Iran army says that they seized an oil tanker off the Sea of Oman. Is that the one that China owns? By the way, this is the only place that's corroborating this insider paper, as I like to call insider liars. We follow them to figure out what the opposition's trying to put out, what narrative they're trying to push. They had no details on this. This literally says developing story, check back later for updates, and there's nothing new so far. So I don't know if they're making this up or what. I'm not hearing about this from anyone else. All we're hearing about is the Chinese oil tanker that was attacked mistakenly, and they're saying that they seized it. Did someone short Bitcoin, and so that they're trying to pay insider paper to spread FUD, so people will dump Bitcoin? Is that what's going on? Next story. What is this? Ceasefire appears to be holding for now.
The U.S. struck the site.
No, we already saw that part. Next story. By the way, the blockade is still happening. They're using 15,000 troops, 200 plus aircraft, and 20 warships to do the blockade. It's basically blocking only Iranian ships and Iranian allied ships. So and that's why they're bum rushing the Strait of Hormuz. By the way, next story. This morning, the U.S. has disabled 2 more vessels that violated the blockade in the Gulf of Oman. Yeah. What happened? I thought you guys were in charge of all this. I thought you guys were in charge. You were so in charge. Iran is so in charge that they did not have to do a bum rush on the Strait of Hormuz, so that only some of them will get caught and the rest will be able to get through. You're in charge. You're in total control. Holy crap. Dude, these Trump detracting channels they're such bad liars. Like, you can look it up. You know what I mean? You can look this stuff up. And it's just
gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
See what he talks about. Okay, I'm going to talk over the copyright music. Give me a second. Oh, by the way, on a side note, yeah, I got it over here as well. I'm almost done with the Iran news, and he's going to speak in a bit. Iran, because their oil tanks are getting full, they don't want to cap the well, so they're dumping the oil into the ocean. Look at this. Yeah, that's before and after that they're showing you right there. So, pretty awful. Here we go.
We love that song. We could have listened to the whole song. We've had that right from the beginning. It's Lee Greenwood, and it's been a great tribute to all of us. Why don't we sit down? We've got plenty of time, right? Special people, very special people. And I hope you like what we're doing. Did everybody get to see the Presidential Walk of Fame? Right? And you have some of your favorite presidents there, some of your least favorite presidents. Some were good, some were great, some were terrible. But that's the way life goes, right? And you notice the roses. This is a rose garden, and we added a lot of roses, I will tell you. This was a rose garden that didn't have too many roses, and if you look now, we cornered the market on roses, and you deserve them. So thank you for being with us in this beautiful spring, this gorgeous spring day. The very famous rose garden has been famous for a long time. They let it get a little bit out of control, but now it's brought back to the highest.
All right, so let's just watch that later, because it doesn't look like he's going to cover anything urgent. If this was if it would not be in a rose garden unless it was something urgent. We'll watch it when we get over to Rumble. It's Friday, so it's probably going to be something very light, not very serious. So we'll watch that later. Let's just get through the news, because we're here for the Hantavirus stuff. Rubio was interviewed this morning in a press gaggle about Iran. And he says that Iran may try to control the Strait of Hormuz. He says the U.S. is expecting a response today. I don't think that they're going to agree to anything. But again, it doesn't seem like we're doing anything about it. It seems like what we're going to do is we're going to do to Iran what we've been doing to Cuba for 70 years. The sanction, sanctions plus naval blockade, which we've never done to Cuba in the past. But anyways, here we go.
We've seen the reporting overnight that Iran has established or trying to establish some agency that's going to control traffic in the straits. That would be very problematic. That would actually be unacceptable. The normalizing of their controlling of international waterways is both illegal and it's just something that's unacceptable. And the world has to start asking itself, what is it willing to do if Iran tries to normalize a control of an international waterway? I think that's unacceptable. So, but we're expecting a response from them today at some point. We have not received that yet, as you know, in the last hour, but perhaps that will come. Their system is still highly fractured and a bit dysfunctional as well. So that may be serving as an impediment. I hope it's a serious offer. I really do. We've seen the reporting overnight that Iran has established or trying to establish some.
All right, sorry about that. This is looped. Here we go. I was setting up for the post-show watch party. Next story. He's also calling out NATO countries that deny the U.S. access to key military bases.
I've been a strong supporter of NATO throughout my career in the Senate and even now. And one of the advantages of being in NATO is that it allows us to have forces deployed in Europe and bases that allow us a logistical ability to project power in the case of contingencies. Well, we had a contingency, and some countries in Europe, like Spain as an example, denied us the use of those bases for a very important contingency that in some ways the denial of those bases actually impeded the mission, not severely, but had a cost and in fact even created some unnecessary dangers. So if one of the main reasons why the U.S. is in NATO is the ability to have forces deployed in Europe that we could project to other contingencies, and now that's no longer the case, at least when it comes to some NATO members, that's a problem and it has to be examined. But ultimately that's a decision for the president to make.
Here's something that's interesting. The Prime Minister of Qatar is in Washington, but he's not meeting with Trump. He's meeting with J.D. Vance. You know, the guy who recently employed Tucker Carlson's son. Yeah. Hey, does Trump have the ability to fire Vance? Holy crap. Because to have someone as your vice president with the complete opposite opinion about how we're handling Iran is not good. That's not safe for you. Good Lord. Yeah, so that's that right there. I don't know when this is happening, but it's coming around the corner. Next story. Marco Rubio revealed closed-door details of with him and Marco Rubio revealed details of his closed-door meeting with Pope Leo, and this is what we had to say about it.
We had a very good meeting. I mean, ultimately, it's important. First of all, there's a lot that we work together with the church, and we talked about those areas that we're working together on, different parts of the world. I know everyone's interested in, the other aspects of it, but I expressed, updated them on the situation with Iran, expressed our point of view about why this was an important, and the danger that Iran poses to the world, which is largely recognized. So obviously the Holy Father is a spiritual leader. He's the first and foremost. I mean, that's his role to play. And obviously the church has always interacted on behalf of a mission for peace and a respect for all of humanity. But at the end, it was a very cordial and important meeting.
Yeah, not a lot there, but okay. Next story. Russia reiterates warning for all diplomatic missions. So he's basically telling his people in Kiev, all the diplomats or whatever, to leave Kiev in the case that Ukraine decides to strike Russia during the ceasefire, which can happen, right? So he's literally telling them, get away from the area, because if they hit us on our Victory Day parade, then we're gonna hit them hard, and that's the area they're gonna go after, right to the city center there. Next story. North Korea is deploying new artillery along their border with South Korea. Looks like this one's gonna get started off real quick, huh? The whole world is catching on fire again. Well, next story. The U.S. has released new counter-terrorism strategy and calls Europe an incubator of migrant terrorism. Ooh, look at that. More reason to leave. More reason to dump NATO. Trump signs new counterterrorism strategy focused on neutralizing hemispheric threats and disabling cartel operations. Yeah, I thought we declared Antifa terrorists globally, but we haven't seen any drone strikes in Germany or France. And they've got lots of Antifas. So that's an interesting little move there. Next story. Okay, off the Hantavirus stuff. A third British person has suspected Hantavirus after the cruise ship outbreak. So they're finding more and more people who are infected with this. And by the way, we're finding out that the incubation period for this is 40 days. Yeah. But again, that could be seen in lying. So we'll play that clip in a bit. How about Jerusalem? This is out of the Jerusalem Post. The first Hantavirus diagnosed in Israel after patients visit to Eastern Europe. They went to Eastern Europe. They did not go to some landfill in Argentina, which, by the way, some are saying that the story out of Argentina, and I found out why they might go there for vacation, is apparently because landfills have lots of birds, right? And so they go there to go bird watching. And so there's rodents there, and the story is that they picked up the rodent, and basically hantavirus comes from rodent feces, and that's what happened. That's what they're saying happened. Okay, but then they also said the thing about the bat suit. Remember that? So that's apparently the cover story is what we're seeing right now. The real story we might actually, I'll get to that towards the end of this segment. But remember, guys, if you're on YouTube, please remember to follow me over on Rumble as well as my other two channels, Frank's Show Clips as well as Frank's Funny Shorts. Rumble, the link to my Rumble account is, it's not in the description, but just look it up. Go to Rumble, look up the NPC show. Follow me there as well. And the reason why is because me covering this, I can actually get a strike for this, and you won't hear from me for a week. They might even just completely delete me entirely. Okay? Because I'm telling you exactly the way I see it. This whole them going to a landfill, going to pet mice, while they're bird watching, that sounds very familiar to the whole bat soup story. Okay, wait till we talk about the missing vials of Hanta. Yeah, it went missing last year. 323 vials of it. First of all, why are you guys growing this stuff? Okay, so we'll get to that in a bit. Jerusalem's got an infectee. Georgia health officials are monitoring 2 Americans who returned from the cruise ship tied to the Hanta outbreak. So we've got Harlem, we've got Georgia, and we got Arizona, by the way. Right here. Another is being watched in Arizona, 2 in Georgia. At least 8 cases, including 3 casualties so far. And by the way, I believe Texas as well was one of these.
Attacks of passengers who were on a cruise ship with a deadly virus. Officials in Georgia say they are monitoring 2 American passengers who recently came home, and another is being watched in Arizona. So the ship is now heading toward the Canary Islands in the Atlantic, but it may not be allowed to dock.
So many developments here. More than 24 passengers who were on the infected ship disembarked nearly 2 weeks after the first passenger died of the deadly virus, according to the ship's operator. Now, meanwhile, health officials in Arizona and Georgia say none of their residents who were on the ship are showing signs of infection.
Yeah, no shit. There's an incubation period. You guys, by the way, you guys know what made COVID so virulent? Was the fact that it had an incubation period of 2 to 3 weeks, 14 to 21 days. You might have it and not even know it, and you could pass it to someone without even knowing you're sick. Okay, this one's supposed to be 8 weeks. Yeah, but that's according to a CNN doctor, so I don't know anymore. Okay, it's hard to tell what's the truth when this is what they're saying. When it's coming out of CNN, it's hard to know if they're telling the truth or not.
U.S. health officials are monitoring Americans who were aboard the MV Hondius but departed before the ship went into quarantine. The MV Hondius is less than 1 day into a 3 to 4 day journey from Cape Verde to the Canary Islands, and already the plan to get the nearly 150 passengers off the boat is facing pushback. One Tenerife leader says the island is ill-equipped to handle the aid needed to be administered to the passengers.
They're headed to the Canary Islands, by the way, supposed to disembark on Monday on the Canary Islands. But the bizarre part is, like, we're hearing people in Harlem, Georgia, Arizona, Texas. How did they get off the ship? How did they disembark? Where did they come from? But apparently they're all connected to these people. It might be contact tracing people, maybe people that weren't actually on a ship but contact traced.
And warns that allowing the ship to dock could pose a greater health risk for the local population. So far, at least 8 people on board are believed to have been infected with the Hantavirus. 3 of those cases have been confirmed, 3 passengers have died, and 1 is in critical condition. And now the Dutch health ministry is reporting a stewardess is in the hospital.
The stewardess. So was she a stewardess on the plane of one of the people flying with the Hantavirus? That's probably what it is, right? So the Dutch have it. Israel has one.
They're showing possible symptoms of Hantavirus. She was not on the cruise, but had reportedly been in contact with a woman who died from the virus. Ruhi Jeanette was a passenger on the cruise. He recorded this video of the captain announcing the first death days later.
One of our passengers sadly passed away last night.
tragic as it is, it was due to natural causes, we believe.
Following the captain's announcement, Jeanette said the passengers on board continued with social activities.
He said it was due to natural causes, and we are not infectious. This was relaxing at the time, but it was also misguiding us.
Clearly so many questions here. Now, Ocean-Wide Expedition, which operates the cruise ship, issued a statement saying in part, at the time of the announcement, no evidence of a virus or contagion was present on the vessel. Now, the state...
So why did you tell people that it was natural causes? That's what pisses me off. The captain told the people, the captain you saw in the video earlier, told the people it was natural causes and there's nothing to worry about.
Department told CBS News it is monitoring the situation and is in close contact.
Yeah, so there's that. Next one. Spain says that they found suspected Hantavirus case in contact of the victim. Oh yeah, the U.S. announced that we're planning evacuation flights for Americans on that ship. So apparently we do have people on that ship. Question is the 8-week incubation period real, and are they going to follow that? Are they going to quarantine these people flying in for 8 weeks? Here's a Nicholas Helsher posted this. It says that Bill Gates is now the top funder for the World Health Organization. Okay. Here's the thing. Everyone right now that I'm watching, including PBD's crew, this guy right here is saying, oh, it's the WHO. You shouldn't believe the WHO. They're not credible, right? Well, the WHO has been telling us that this is going to be a nothing burger. So are we now supposed to panic then? Is that what you're saying? We're supposed to, worry, lock down, all that stuff? Is that what you're saying? I'm telling you, these guys are, they don't know what they're talking about in terms of these narratives. They're like, oh, don't listen to the WHO. Remember what they said about the last one? Well, they're telling us it's a nothing burger. They also told us a nothing burger 2 months prior to shutting down the whole world in 2020. So what do we do now? Do you know what I'm saying? Everyone's just like, the World Health Organization. Yeah. Or how about the possibility that the World Health Organization is using reverse psychology at this time? Right? But again, they're telling us not to listen to them. But again, the World Health Organization is saying, oh, this is a nothing burger. So we're supposed to take it serious? Is that what you're saying? What are we saying here? Yeah. But anyways, everyone's thrown... And by the way, Hantavirus, 38% mortality rate. 38%. Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, I'm not saying, I'm not saying throw a wrench in your whole life and stop everything you're doing and lock down and disinfect your house all day long. But maybe not go to the massage parlor. Maybe not go to the strip club for a while. You know? Because again, whether you believe this came from a mouse or not in Argentina, there are 323 missing vials of this stuff from Australia, and no one knows where they went. Still haven't found them. And I'll get to that story in a bit. Next story. Here's a doctor on CNN telling us that the Hantavirus has an incubation period of 40 days.
And what a quarantine might really mean in context of the long incubation period. And we have a question from one of our viewers. They ask, it's said that it can take 8 weeks to become symptomatic. The passengers shouldn't be allowed into the public until they're completely cleared. You know, what is that a fair way to look at this? I mean, how long do you think people should be quarantined who are either on that ship or in contact with someone who was there?
Yeah, I mean, this is the big challenge with this virus, the long incubation period. And now we have people scattered really around the globe that are being properly tracked, isolated, quarantined, and get it under control. But what they did was they quarantined and isolated people for 40 days because of the long incubation period. So unfortunately, this is a key factor in us trying to figure out how do we keep people safe? How do we prevent further spread? I mean, what we're all tracking right now is that potential secondary spread. And then how do we minimize those who are infected from infecting others?
Yeah. Next story. 323 vials containing deadly viruses, including the Hantavirus, reported missing from Australia lab in 2024. This is after a major biosecurity breach.
Now, I want to stress that there have been
one-sided audio.
There have been no public health incidents
linked to these materials. So we have no evidence so far of any event occurring as a result of the loss or the destruction of these materials.
Remember, this is 2024, so we thought that they were going to use this to steal the 2024 election. Remember that?
The department is taking all necessary steps to ensure that it does have the appropriate regulatory matters in place. It is liaising with the federal record-keeping bodies and the federal accreditation bodies, as well as with our own Department of Agriculture. It has...
Yeah, so those have not been found yet. Oh, it gets worse, guys. This is in Pfizer's own documents, okay? Development of hantavirus infection was known adverse event arising from Pfizer's Rona jab. Yeah, it's in their documents that it's one of the side effects. It's one of the side effects listed on Pfizer's Rona jab. I have to use code words again, guys. Guys, remember, follow me on Rumble. Go there, make an account, give me a follow. At least you'll get notifications when you go over there. But if I'm gonna get wiped from YouTube for this, but at least you'll get information about this. Here's more details about the Rona jab. Has a one of the side effects is Hanta. Okay, literally in their own documents right there. This is a list of all the side effects from the Rona jab made by Pfizer. Okay. It says here, this is, by the way, in multiple languages. Infection pulmonar por Hantavirus. Okay? It's saying pulmonary infection of Hantavirus. That's a side effect of the jab. So here we're seeing a narrative being put out that, oh, it's from a mouse in some dump yard in Argentina. Meanwhile, there's no pandemic at all in Argentina. Or 323 missing vials of this stuff from 2024. Possibly yet another cover story, right? Real story, possibly side effect. Cover up. 38% casualty. Yeah. And by the way, this is just the Pfizer one that is listed. This, I don't know about the others. I don't know if anyone have cleared the other ones of this little side effect. Here's another one right here. Hantavirus pulmonary infection. This is a list of side effects on Pfizer's own documents right there. There it is. Hantavirus pulmonary infection. What else is there? Hantavirus is listed as Pfizer's 38-page. Hantavirus is listed in Pfizer's 38-page document. On page 33, it's one of 1,233 listed side effects. So now the COVID vaccine is now going to transform into a virus? Is what they're asking. So, hell of a delay though, right? Oh, and by the way, you guys remember Gene Hackman and his wife also passed from Hanta? Yeah. When you realize the new fear bug is pushed by the media, was also listed in an adverse side effect as in the Rona jabs. Again, so this is multiple people talking about this. Hantavirus pulmonary infection. That's one of the side effects. Oh, it gets worse, guys. There's a patent for a Myrna. We're gonna call it Myrna. Okay, you already know what Myrna is. Okay. Come on, what is this? What is this? All I want to do is zoom in. That's it. All I want to do is zoom in. Really? That's fucking great. That's great. Hold on, guys. My mouse is what the hell is going on, man? There it is. Is it gonna work this time? It's not. Whatever. There it is. That right there. We're gonna call that Myrna. Okay, for obvious reasons. Oh, jeez, man. Now that's not working. So, anyways, by the way, they already had a patent ready for the Hanta Myrna jab. This is filed in 2021 and published just last year in 2025 in April. Right as cases are steadily popping up and a few machine kicks into gear again, the same big pharma players who rushed the Rona jabs hid side effects and attacked real treatments like Ivan Drago, that thing right there, and now have their next Myrna cash cow lined up and waiting. This timing is way too convenient. President Trump warned us for years about the medical tyranny and the profit over people agenda, while they tried to destroy him for exposing it. The American people are wide awake now and done being treated like lab rats for the next experimental rollout. I'll say this. President Trump's presidency will be defined on whether he decides to do jab mandates for this or not. And we know that is absolutely a possibility. Not the Iranian war. I think like a lot of people love him for the Iranian war because of how it's been handled. But this, if he does jab mandates for this, you're going to see a massive drop-off in support for the GOP. Even though the Democrats would have also done jab mandates. You're going to see a lot of people just go like, oh, there's no point. It doesn't matter who you vote for. We're going to get a pandemic no matter what. You're going to see a lot of this. A lot of disengagement. A lot of people just tuning out again. Just like by the way, just like what happened when Pam Blondie went around calling the Epstein files a hoax. Okay, and got him saying the same thing. Anyway, so this is the patent here. I forgot what university was working on this. The applicant, the board of University of Texas, huh? Great, I can't zoom in. Thank you. Open image in new tab. There it is. U.S. patent applicant publication. Applicant, Board of Begonis at the Texas University, at the University of Texas System in Austin. Inventors, Alexander Burke out of Galveston, Marion, Galveston, everyone's from Galveston. The field of Hantavirus pathology is design production, So, yeah, they only have the first page of this. But this is supposed to be a Myrna jab specifically for Hanta. So, guys. Oh, and by the way, the WHO's already getting ahead of this and saying Ivan Drago does not work for this.
We've seen some online discussion as well indicating that perhaps ivermectin is useful in this case, but we have not seen any research that shows that ivermectin is an effective treatment for hantavirus, and that's what we know at this point. So just to reiterate, as we said yesterday as well, based on what we know, based on the dynamics of this outbreak, based on how it is spreading and not spreading amongst the people on the ship, the people who have disembarked as well, we continue to consider the risk as low for the general population. It's moderate for those on the ship, and we'll be following this closely. And we don't mean following this closely remotely. We actually have colleagues who are in the Canary Islands, and we'll be working directly with Spanish authorities to have the smoothest process for the people on the ship and for the people of the Canary Islands.
Ah, the Spanish authorities of Canary Island. Sound familiar? Spanish flu much? So there's that. And just in time, the Trump administration has released the UFO files to distract us from Hanta. So guys, make sure you guys are following me over on Rumble, okay? Because I don't know if I'm going to get nuked for talking about all this other patent stuff and the missing vials and these alternative theories or whatever. Because they're still banning lots of people on YouTube. They're banning people for using AI-generated art. Anyway, so there's a video of a UFO, whatever. Yeah, I know, we got it. Like, you guys can look it up on Twitter. It's released coincidentally today, like right when this Hanta stuff is like hitting the news wire. Can anyone guess? Do you think we'll probably have a high-profile celebrity death again to take attention off the Hanta? You think the UFO files are going to do anything? No one. I don't even care about this. I don't even care what this is. Even if this is real, I don't care. No one cares about this. We have so many other problems right now. And you want us to care about UFOs. Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks for releasing them. Anyways. What is this one? Oh, it's a fun one to end the show. This guy right here is trying to catch a fly ball with one hand. Look at his beard. Look at his beard. Look at his girlfriend.
Thinking, yeah, foul ball.
Look at his
that'd
girlfriend.
Be great. Don't need a shower though.
Oh.
Plus, is the food ruined? Oh yeah, those nachos are toast.
Oh, he didn't even get the ball. He dropped it.
She's thinking, yeah, foul
the
ball.
lady in front of him got it, and she got all the beer. That's hilarious. Anyways, guys, remember I got 2 other channels, Frank's Funny Shorts as well as Frank's Show Clips. Make sure you give those a follow. Links to both of those in the description. We're going to head on over to Rumble right now. We've got Trump's speech from this morning to watch. We've got Josh has an episode about China's master strategy against America that it's just failed, I believe. We have Roman Balmakov talking about the guy with the ants. No. We watched it yesterday already. I gotta remove that. We watched it yesterday, and then we've got Joshua's episode about the Supreme Court's ruling on assault rifles. Okay, that's coming up as well. And then we have one by Taylor the Fiend about women getting fired for their social media posts. That's going to be pretty funny. So we got those, and let's see. Yep. So let's head on over to Rumble, guys. Guys, remember, Cash App, buy me a coffee, subscribe to on Patreon, or ways you can support the channel. Or you could become a member like Kathy is right there on YouTube. It's $3 a month. It helps keep the channel alive. Becky's also a member. Thank you very much, dear. You can also become a member over on Rumble. Right there. Bam. Subscribe button. $5 a month. And you get access to our Rumble Premium Hangout. So we'll see you guys over there. Make sure you guys follow me on Rumble. Okay? I'm covering all this Hanta stuff. I will probably get nuked. So I will see you guys over on the Rumble side. And yeah. See the last pandemic that happened, I didn't get active on the jab very early enough, and people within my very, very close circles actually went and got jabbed. And now we've got Hantavirus to deal with for those particular people, and I didn't say anything about it because I knew nothing about it. And so now I gotta say something about it. So I'll see you guys over on Rumble. Have a good day. Goodbye, YouTube. If you don't make it over there, see you tomorrow. Have a good day.